Hi, my name is Elizabeth Craig, and I work in the Office of Pastoral Life and New Evangelization, or the Plain Office, in the Archdiocese of Halifax-Yarmouth. So we've talked a little bit about how phase 1 of our pastoral planning process is all about getting a baseline assessment of your parish. Our goal for this phase is that every pastor and his team will have a really clear picture of what's happening at the parish level. It's, as John said in video number 1, if you watched that, it's all about a parish-based process supported by the diocese. So the goal is that by the end of this, you'll know exactly what's happening in your parish. And we've developed some tools to help you do this, and I'm going to go through 2 of them right now, the Ministry Assessment Report and the Parish Statistics Worksheet. Ministry assessment reports are probably the first task that your parish team is going to do for this process. You'll want one report completed by every ministry in your parish, and they will be completed by the ministry itself, by the coordinator of the ministry, or some other volunteer who's involved and knowledgeable enough about the ministry and its services to answer all the questions. There is a pretty broad mix of questions. Some are very straightforward. What's the name of the ministry? Who's the contact person? What's the main service you offer? And some require a little bit more forward thinking. How does this ministry serve our pastoral plan in the areas of ministry, community, and/or formation? So it's probably something you'll want to work together on within the ministry to make sure you have all of the bases covered and you really know what's happening. These will all be submitted by the ministries to your parish team, and from there, you'll submit them to your plain office contact by January 30th. It will be important in your parish to set an internal parish deadline when you need all the reports submitted to you, and give yourself some time to go through them all, make sure they're all there, and track down any of the latecomers before you submit them to us at the diocese. All of the reports need to be submitted typed electronically, so if any of the ministries are not able to do this themselves, that's something the parish team can assist with. So we know this is going to be a lot of work, a lot of coordination, but it's a very important part of this first phase, and it will have a lot of benefits to you and to the whole diocese. For one thing, as we keep saying, this is what's really going to show you what's happening at your parish level. What are you doing? What are you already doing well? What could you maybe use a little more work on? The pastor will know exactly what's happening, which is good for its own sake, but also very important as we get into our next phase of pastoral planning. Because these will all be submitted through the diocese and collected in aggregate, it will also help Archbishop Mancini and the diocesan staff to know where the parishes are and what support they need. It will really help us better support you through our October training days and our Assemblies of the People of God every year. So we'll know what you need and we'll be able to better provide it. It's also a really good way to begin some regional cooperation where appropriate. A lot of parishes have said that they like the idea of working together, but it's sometimes really hard to know where to start, how to work together, in what areas that would be beneficial. So if you start to have a better sense of what you're doing and maybe where you need some help and assistance, and you know what the parish down the street from you is doing, where they're very good, maybe you can look at things where those overlap. Maybe you've realized through your ministry assessment reports that your adult faith formation has been declining a little over the past few years, but you know down the road they have a really strong, thriving ministry. They may be able to provide you with some resources, or maybe it's something you can actually collaborate on between the 2 parishes. And lastly, this is a tool for discernment in the ministry. We're talking about it a lot as a tool for data collection, and it certainly does fill that role. But it's also a way for your individual ministries to get better at planning their year and looking at how what they do supports the mission of the church. Now, some ministries are already very familiar with this process, but for those that aren't, this is going to be a very good tool to get them going down this road, so we're all working together to further the mission of our church. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the Parish Statistics Worksheet. As you probably know, our diocese already collects statistics every year from every parish. And these are mainly sacramental statistics, and we collect them because we have to send them on to Rome every year. So we'll continue doing that, but we're going to expand this process a little bit to provide a broader picture of your parish. Again, as you might have heard in video number 1, this is a way of looking at the same data contained in the ministry assessment reports, but in a different way. This data is the life of your parish, and we'll have it in a narrative form and also in a more numerical, statistical form with this second portion. It's a way to complement and contextualize what we already have in the ministry assessment reports. This worksheet will probably need to be filled out by a variety of people. It contains questions about the finances of your parish, the sacraments, as we've mentioned, and also some questions about the resources and facilities and the demographics of your parish. There may not be one person in your parish right now who knows all those things, so you may have to work together on it. But one of the good things is that by collecting all this, very soon there'll be many people in your parish who will know all of these things about the life of your local community. We've tried to make the worksheet very user-friendly. You'll notice, for example, that in the financial section, we actually describe the exact account code we're referencing. But of course, if you have any questions or concerns as you're filling it out, you can always contact your plain office contact, and they can help you walk through it and answer any questions you may have. Like the ministry assessment reports, this worksheet is going to be due into the plain office by January 30th, 2015.